Guys, gals, and fellow gender non-conforming pals, welcome back. My name is C28, and I missed the last vlog. Yeah, I didn't shoot it. I don't really have a good explanation for you, so here's a bad explanation. Here's a bad excuse. I didn't feel like it. No, legitimate answer is more, I was doing some self-care stuff, just, you know, cleaning up my space, doing some things that I should have that I've been putting off, so doing that instead of shooting the video log, and yeah, just procrastinating it. So I'm going to catch you up with this one, which might be pretty long. Yeah. So the last few days of the last week, so this is the last week, but the previous week to this one, which is the third week, the last two labs we had were pretty fun. We had tests, actually. They were tests. I know. How can a test be fun? Trust me, it was pretty nice. Mainly because it was just easy. It was a pretty straightforward thing. So it is our test of our ability to be a front of house engineer as well as a monitor engineer. As you remember from the past few video logs, monitor engineering is, hey artists, here's your sound. Front of house engineering is, hey people who pay money to be here, here's your sound. Those two jobs. So yeah, we it was pretty easy because we had two sections to both of them. So they're separate days. And first part's just, hey, can you do all these things? Checklist. Just run through them all. If you can do it, you're doing the same stuff on the test. So if you can do that, you're fine. If you don't know how to do it, ask some bloody questions, and then you might have a better time with it. So we were able to ask questions on anything we were uncomfortable with and find little mistakes we would have made on the test just then, and yeah, go through it. And it's pretty basic stuff. It's just set up your routing through Dante. So 1 to 1, 2 to 2, 3 to 3, 4 to 4, 24 to 24, all the way through. And then you're going to set up the names and colors for each of your channel strips. So you're going to have your kick drum, your snare, your hi-hat, your toms, your floor tom, your ride, your overheads, your bass, the DI for the bass, the bloody keys, the other keys, left, right for both. You're going to have some sort of crowd noise or something like that. And then 3 vocals and a floating mic that is used for whatever. All sorts of stuff. And that specific layout of stuff may not be accurate, but basically stuff like that. And then from there, you just have to do very basic things. So they'll ask you to do something like, hey, put a high pass filter on this thing at this slope and at this frequency. Put a gate here, put a compression here, route time-based effects. And all pretty simple stuff. The only thing that kind of caught me off guard was when doing your effects for monitor engineering, the effects return is not by default on. So by default, when you are a monitor engineer and you're doing the individual mixes for everyone on stage, you have to give them the wet level for your effects. So you can push the effect up to say, hey, send this to the effect so it will process it, and it does. And you don't hear anything because you didn't send any wet level. Then you have to go to a separate layer, I think layer C, and then push up the fader for the FX return for whatever mix you're going to do. And glad I learned that before doing the monitor engineering test, because I would have missed that and be like, oh, shoot. Yeah, I'm not hearing anything. And you can't really ask questions after you started the test because, well, that's cheating, isn't it? And the test itself is very basic. It's easy to pass and it's easy to fail. Not because it's like, I guess that phrase makes it pretty straightforward. Yeah, so if you know your stuff, basically, and you pay attention in the first half, you're going to pass it, like 100%. There's no way you don't. Maybe you miss one thing. You forget to turn on your compression. You forget to turn on your gating. Sure. And then you lose a lot of points. Silence, you. I've got a gate on my voice and it still goes through. That is quite loud, and I was speaking, so the gate was opened. Yeah. Anyway. Um, yeah, so basically just pay attention. I had a thought in my mind, but it passed. The subconscious was like, "Be gone, thoughts," and it's gone now. So that sucks. Mm. Yeah. Oh, the thought was basically there were like 6 or 7 questions. So big margin for error if you miss something. So don't miss something. Yeah. Now in lab, we are practicing for, and this is up to this week now. Welcome to the last and final week. Fourth and final is what I meant to say. Of course, like, yeah, last is the final. That's English for you. English is trash anyway. It's all right. You can make English mistakes. English is just a terrible language to begin with, so whatever. But in our final week, we are getting ready to take a basically event setup lab test. So what that means is we're going to be randomly assigned roles. I may have said this earlier in some other video log, but we're going to be randomly assigned roles, and within those roles, you have to be able to fully do everything there. So, fortunately for me, my lab group is myself and one other person. I don't know what happened to everyone else. They either dropped out or got kicked out. To be honest, lab attendance wasn't great for a lot of them. So, yeah. So the two of us will probably just going to end up doing something like monitor engineering and front of house engineering, which would be pretty straightforward. I hope I get front of house because monitor engineering's quite hefty. There's a lot of stuff to do there, especially with setting up the input output stuff. We do analog in. We don't use Dante protocol for this. So you're doing analog routing when you are miking up your set and routing it through splitters into your consoles. So there's a splitter that will send analog signals to both your front of house and your monitor consoles. You could use Dante protocol, but they want you to really understand how this stuff works and be able to suss out problems. So if there's a problem with routing, you can follow the signal flow. You have to follow the signal flow. I mean, you can follow the signal flow anyway with Dante, but like, you have to follow the signal flow this way. You can't just be like, oh, it's missing. Maybe it's here. Oh, yep, it's there. And then flip it with Dante, which is the benefit of it is you can then make any mistake that was done with setting up your stage. Oh, no, it was my mistake. Sorry, I made the mistake. And then you just like make 718 instead of like being 7. Yeah. But I expect I'll do pretty well with that. I already previously did something similar to that with my lab partner. And today I ran through a lot of it as well. So I think tomorrow in the afternoon or evening, we got lab. So I'll run through that test another time. Just be like, hey, do I actually know this stuff? And if I feel comfortable, then, well, this Thursday I get to see if my grade is good. If it ends up being good. Basically, the test is on Thursday. Yeah. Anyway, that's it. So, not really a whole lot. Today in lecture, we did go over some things. Let me pull up my lecture notes. Hi, Logic. We've been shooting for 8 minutes. 8 minutes is not bad. That's not bad at all. All right. Notes. Hello, notes. Week 4, lecture 9. Loudspeaker management. Yeah. Basically, the entire class was about phasing or polarity. They're not the same thing, technically. Phasing is just in time. So if I have a phase issue, that might look something like, this is going to be a pain. Oh, I don't want to do this. Do I want to do this? I'm going to think about if I want to do this. Yeah, I'll do it. So a phasing issue would look something like this. It's where what you're hearing is not in phase. Like what I'm saying is not being demonstrated by my lips at the same time you're hearing it. It could be faster, it could be slower, it could be whatever. But now I'm all synced up again. I'm going to hate editing that. I'm going to hate editing that so much, but it is what it is. Polarity is more like it's more to do with cancellation than timing. So you could call it being out of phase, but it's more of a polarity flip in terms of the amplitude versus the, I guess, rarefaction, compression and rarefaction, but it's like the uppy bits and the downy bits of the waveform. Well, we were showing a lot of examples today in class of if you have the same sound, such as you would have with two speakers, loudspeakers, and one of those sounds is not playing at the same time, it will go out of polarity with the other one, meaning it's going to be playing the waveform flipped up, and it's going to eliminate a lot of frequencies. It won't get rid of the sound entirely. You can do that as well, but it will do a lot of freaky stuff where you lose or you add a bunch of frequencies where you don't want them to be. And the same thing can happen with your low drivers versus your tweeters. If your tweeters are not in phase with your low drivers, if they're off by even just like 2 feet, you'll get some weird stuff happening. The waveform is an actual waveform, moves in space. It's got an actual physical length to it. So they need to start and stop at the same time if they're doing the same sound. Different frequencies, but generally the same thing. The low end of your vocal, the high end of your vocal. The low end of your guitar, the high end of your guitar. Needs to be the same. Coming out at the same time. That is. And if it's not, you got a bunch of really weird things happening. I really do not want to do this, but I'm going to do it because I just did the other one anyway, so I might as well. One of the examples we were given is if I have two of the same vocal, such as now at 363, that measure, 363, 363, 363, 363. There we go. And I have two versions of the same thing playing. What I can do is I can take my second version and I'll delay it very slightly by just a few bits. Well, not bits. What do I mean to say? Milliseconds. A few milliseconds. And what that will cause is, you'll hear it now. I'm going to turn it up, and now my voice gets quieter. That's weird. I'm turning it up, but it gets quieter. It's going out of phase. It's canceling because there's a polarity flip. The amplitude is matching up with the downitude. What is that called? What the valley? The peak in the valley? Amplitude? They're both amplitude. I'm do have stupid. They're both amplitude. The compressions are lining up with the rarefactions, and it is causing my voice to be quieter. Alternatively, I can turn that back down, and as I turn it down, my voice gets louder. That's not me doing some automation with the volume. That's literally just the two waveforms catching up to each other and canceling out. And in fact, you can do 180 cancellation, meaning if they're out of phase by 180 degrees, out of polarity, out of phase. I need to look up what the proper term is because there's gonna be some audio file like, oh my god, C28, you stupid it's not that. It's not that. Why are you calling it that? It's not that. And I'm sorry, it's. But the person in class teaching did say, hey, people who care about that are basically nerds. It doesn't matter. But it does matter. I honestly, I want to understand it because using the wrong terms, it doesn't show that you really know what you're talking about. You should never intentionally be okay using the wrong terms. You should always want to use the most proper and correct terms for things. But if you don't know them like me, it's okay to just kind of give examples. You can look this stuff up on YouTube. You'll find it. Phase cancellation, polarity cancellation, whatever it is. Mismodulations, what the heck is the difference? Okay, well, that makes sense then. Yeah. Not to me, of course, because it is not in my physical space. It was a virtual space that I put on later that you can read, but I can't because I didn't do it yet. Another me did it. That me, to be specific. Hi. Bye-bye. Yeah. So, phase stuff. Now, C28 business. What have we got? 15 minutes? Whew. Time to save money with Geico. Whew. Or should have been doing that this whole time. Nothing. I got nothing. I really don't have anything for you. I'm working on some side projects, tiny little things. I might start releasing trailers for them. I'll see. But no, there's nothing. Actually, it's a lie. Wait, no, that's totally a lie. No, that's a lie. I do have something. I got one thing. One thing. Dance of Dark Pixels. Some of you may have been on the live that I did, a live recording and tracking session and a live mixing and mastering session for the same song. And yeah, so we had a bunch of people who were on and helped out with the production, provided their own ideas on, hey, I want to hear this, I want to hear this, I want to hear this. And we did it. We got all those things in. And by the way, if you helped out, you are legitimately, officially a music producer. You provided ideas, direction for the song. You're a producer. And you will be credited as such. I got all four of you. Is it four? Three of you. All three of you. Yeah, it's four total because I'm included. But I got all three of you who were helping out primarily. And you can expect to see some credits when that releases on Apple Music, Spotify, and whatnot. So yeah, shout out to all of you. And look for your names on the credits for the song. You'll see it there. Yeah. Dance Dark Pixels should release on the 9th of February 2024, and I look forward to it. It's a fun little ambient piece. Got some dark droning sounds from Liz over here, and just some really cool melodic stuff. So yeah, I've got much else for you. So without further ado, yeah, if you enjoyed today's video, you can subscribe, of course. And if you super enjoyed it, if you're feeling like it, for $5 a month, you can join and become a Control Voltage. Control Voltages get some pretty cool perks. You get access to the Discord server for Control Voltages only, and myself included. I guess, am I a Control Voltage? I mean, technically, I do control myself, but I don't think I am. I will never be able to be a Control Voltage. That's so sad. That sucks. I wish I could be a Control Voltage, but I can't. But you can. And you get early access to videos as well. Behind the scenes content. And we might do some member only stuff as well. Lives, whatnot. Yeah. We'll see what happens. We need more, yes. Anyway, if you've got any questions or comments, you don't have to be a Control Voltage. You can just leave those in the comment section below and I'll get back to them. If they're very substantial, something very interesting, I can post them in the space. Yeah, something that, you know, be good for everyone else to see the answer to. Yeah, and without further ado, for realsies, hope you all take care of yourselves. God be with you. And goodbye, YouTube. Peace. Wow.